So this is the reabsorption of the salt. Actually, this is, oh, okay. It shows you where the juxtaglomerular apparatus is located. That's good. So you can see that this is glomerulus. Glomerulus, you see all these white thingy on the surface of the blood vessel. These are the podocytes. All this, they create a slit. They create a slit. The slit restrict the size of the molecule that can go from the blood vessels into the Bowman capsule. And as you see that this is the glomerular capsule or Bowman capsule, the output of the Bowman capsule is the proximal convoluted tubule. And you can see that the afferent arteriole is indeed larger in diameter than the efferent arteriole, so that you will create a positive pressure here. And then this one is the distal convoluted tubule. So you see that, okay, the proximal convoluted tubule go out from the Bowman capsule, loop of Henle, and then the distal convoluted tubule actually go back, physically touching the afferent arteriole. And the juxtaglomerulus apparatus, they are the cell, a specialized cell that form the distal convoluted tubule. And this specialized cell, they are physically touching, in physical contact with the afferent arteriole, with the simple squamous epithelium of the afferent arteriole here. So they have physical connection, or physical contact here. Because they are here to detect the pressure changes of the afferent arteriole. So if there's a changes in the pressure here, that means then the juxtaglomerular apparatus, they can detect the changes of the blood pressure in the afferent arteriole. In the case, if the pressure drops, then they can secrete renin. And then I mentioned that hormone other than aldosterone. So we mentioned that aldosterone is a hormone secreted by your adrenal cortex to increase the absorption of water, so that you increase the blood volume, so that you can restore the blood pressure. Another hormone is called atrial natriuretic hormone, ANH. Atrial natriuretic hormone, it is, as the name suggested, it is secreted by your atria. When your cardiac muscle cells, they are stretched due to increase in blood volume. So this one acts the opposite as your opposite against the aldosterone. Aldosterone is secreted when your blood volume, blood pressure drop. ANH is secreted when your blood pressure increase, because you have too much blood, you have increase in blood volume. When you have increase in blood volume, you stretch your cardiac muscle cell, and in this case, it suggests you have high blood pressure. Then ANH will be secreted. How does it work? It is secreted by the right atrium of your heart, and then you inhibit renin. You inhibit renin secretion, actually. What it means is that you inhibit ANH, you inhibit the juxtaglomerular apparatus from secreting renin, and also you inhibit the adrenal cortex to secrete the aldosterone as well. And in this case, it will promote sodium excretion. That means you will have more sodium ion in the filtrate or in the urine, because in this case, you make your urine more concentrated. When your urine is more concentrated, then water follows. Water will you have more water going into your urine by osmosis. The sodium excretion, we call it natriuresis. Okay, loop of Henle. How does loop of Henle control the reabsorption of water? Loop of Henle has two parts: descending limb and ascending limb. So salt can go out, diffuse out from the lower part of the ascending limb only. The descending limb is impermeable to salt, but the descending limb is permeable to water. And then salt can diffuse out from the lower part of the ascending limb, but the upper part of the ascending limb, it has to use active transport. So the ascending limb has two parts, the lower part and the upper part. Lower part, you can use a simple diffusion for the salt to come out. Upper part, it has to use active transport. And the ascending limb is impermeable to water, which is the opposite of the descending limb. The descending limb is permeable to water. So as the salt keep on leaving the ascending limb, then you will have less and less salt in the fluid in the ascending limb. So the salt leaving the ascending limb, it will go to the peritubular capillary that surround the loop of Henle. So because you have more and more salt leaving the ascending limb, going into the peritubular capillary around the loop of Henle, that will make the blood around the loop of Henle very high concentration. Then water will follow. Where does water come from? The water will come from the descending limb of the loop of Henle to go into the peritubular capillary network. We call it vasa recta. Vasa recta is a special name for the peritubular capillary network surrounding the loop of Henle. And so urea, this is the question from the last video. Why do we not secrete 100% of the urea? Why do we keep approximately half the urea in our body? Because urea also helps this reabsorption of water. So not only the sodium ions secreted from the ascending limb that will make the blood vessels in the loop of Henle concentrated, also the urea will also being reabsorbed. The urea will also secreted from the ascending limb, and then it will be reabsorbed back to the blood vessels in the vasa recta or the peritubular capillary around the loop of Henle, so that it will make the blood over there very concentrated. Then it will help to reabsorb the water back to the blood vessel. So that's why I said they will create a concentration gradient, helping the reabsorption of water. So this is the main idea here. As I mentioned, the ascending limb, they will keep on losing the salt, sodium chloride. The lower part of the ascending limb, they can lose the sodium by diffusion. Upper part, they can lose the sodium by active transport, making the peritubular capillary around this area very, very concentrated with sodium. And you also have urea coming out from the collecting duct, also going back to the blood vessel, the capillary around this area. So urea and sodium chloride, they will work synergistically to increase the concentration of the blood around the loop of Henle, so that the blood around the loop of Henle will be very, very concentrated, highly concentrated. And then what happened? Water coming out from the descending limb. Remember I told you that descending limb is permeable to water, but the ascending limb is impermeable to water. Then the water will be, you can call it secreted, or no, the water will be reabsorbed from the loop of Henle back to the blood vessels, so that you will, your body will increase the blood volume in this case. So this, so as I mentioned before, water will leave the descending limb of loop of Henle. We call this a countercurrent mechanism. What does it mean, countercurrent? Meaning that on one side, the sodium is keep on leaving. On the other side, water is keep on leaving. So that on this side, the concentration of the sodium is increasing, because the water keep on leaving. But on this side, because the water, the fluid, the filter is becoming more and more diluted, because the sodium is keep on leaving. That's why I call it countercurrent, meaning that the concentration or the situation of the two limbs, they are opposite. Salt is actually pumped out from the ascending limb. Osmolarity is lower, meaning that as we have more and more salt leaving the ascending limb, the fluid is becoming hypotonic, more and more diluted. So that urine also become more diluted. This happens when we want to remove more of the water.